that money from that man, you are voting in the wrong person. And the person will continue to do what he's doing so that you will not grow. So the best thing to do, this is what I'm just telling Nigerians, even if you are hungry, God, we know it's difficult. This country is difficult. Everybody knows that. The hunger level is very high, if not up to 80%. But the fact is that just hold your belt and know that you are very powerful. An electorate is very powerful. Your vote matters. You can vote anybody in and you can vote anybody out. The things that we need now is actually how to educate the people. Not only INEC doing that. They might not do that. The political parties will not do that. Why the political parties will not do that is because they know how to manipulate, find a way to get themselves in there. So what we need to do from our homes, our families, we don't even need to do this political education in the primary school. From home, as the children are growing up, you're teaching them. You find out that there is a part in this country that they are political strategists. What they do, even from their baby, being 2-3 years, they've started telling them how to take power in this country. There is a section in the country that does that. And that is what everybody needs to do, even from home. You don't wait till the child gets to school. From home, you start telling the child, come, this is your right, this is what you do. You have the power to vote out a corrupt leader. That is why the Constitution makes it. You have 4 years to stay and then return back the next 4 years. Which means if you are there and you are not doing well, and you say that somebody is not doing well, the next thing the person brings bread to you. After messing you up for the first 4 years, he now brings bread to you on the queue. And you just collect that bread for that day and vote back that person. That means you're doing yourself.
But I think on a theoretical level, it's very easy, you know, especially if you're not hungry, to say, oh, don't collect the 5,000, don't collect the 10,000. On a theoretical level, right, you can have that conversation. But the reality is that if you even look at how hunger has been weaponized by politicians, right, ethnicity, you know, information, how they've done it so skillfully that it is difficult to have a conversation with someone that's hungry, that hasn't been paid. Look at Osun State, for instance. You owe workers for so long, Imo State for so long, and then a few weeks or days to election, the federal government miraculously releases the funds to the state. And now the state governor is going to pay. There's something
in his magnanimity.
And you see, what happens here is that the average voter, who's that civil servant that's going to receive that money, is not often aware enough to understand that this is money that are due. You know, it's mine.
It's his money.
Mine.
Yeah.
In fact, it's a travesty that I wasn't even paid.
Yeah.
What he remembers, the neurology, how hunger rewires our brain, is that, and that's what's been happening in Nigeria, is that you receive this money and the connection you make is that this governor, he's now coming out saying, I care about you. Oh, I've just paid you. I'm going to pay even more if you vote me in. He has the money in hand. He's going to say, maybe he has changed because he has, you see.
That is why we need to educate them. If somebody comes and brings money when it may be some few days to an election, and you collect that money and still voting that person or voting the person that maybe the person wants to take over from him, you are doing yourself.
Yes,
it's difficult. It's theoretical. It's not really theoretical, but we have to sink this into your mentality.
Yes.
As you speak, as you say this, you let people know.
Exactly.
God, you are hungry.
Joyce, that's the point. That's the point I'm making.
You are hungry, but know that you have to.
Joyce.
You have to realize that if you do this, you vote these people in again. You are that, if they are not paid you for 10 months, this month they are not going to pay you for the next 3 years.
Yes, what I'm saying, Joyce, is that we have to understand it. Because if we understand it, then the way we create intervention, the way we create the awareness will also shift. For instance, there are organizations like Tracker, Connected Development, Enough is Enough, Budget. They're doing great work in communities. They're going to the grassroots. calling people together and actually explaining to them, because it's not enough to just say, oh, if you vote this person in and take the money, you're doing yourself, right? If you continue the conversation in such a way, you're able to show them. Study Sense, for instance, I know we did a campaign with them where we say each local government show us since 1999 till date how much they've they've been allocated. So when someone comes to me, for instance, and says, oh, the federal government is doing this, or not doing this, I say, okay, which local government are you from? They give me the local government, and I say, okay, the federal government is responsible for this. The state government is responsible for this. Your local government is responsible. And see all the monies that they've received. See what the state governor has received. See what the federal... And so to be able to break it down in a language that people understand, and especially in group settings at the grassroots level, so that they get it, they really get it.
Okay,
yes,
Mr. Puta, the grassroots level, educating the people, and someone just sent in a tweet here, Odo Matthew says it's not enough to bring in experts to talk on TV, but INEC needs to do more because a lot of people in the rural areas don't have access to television. But I also believe that those in the urban areas have relatives in the rural areas and can tell them what's happening. But then let's look at how can the voter, what should the voter be doing ahead of any election? How do we bring the voter to understand his power and what he can do?
Okay, my view actually is that at the point when you are asking Nigerians to go and vote for parliamentarians and governors and the president, it's already too late. See, we've managed to, continuously and always put politicians on one side and the people on the other side. You talk about political parties. There are more than 90 political parties in the country. My view is that the participation should start before the elections, because most of the time, by the time we have elections, the candidates that we're voting for are already inadequate. They are already the wrong people. So it doesn't really matter who you vote for anywhere. You're going to end up with exactly the same outcome. So the participation should start with people joining the political parties in their local governments, in their wards, because political parties are not exclusive clubs. They are, by constitution, an open club that every Nigerian is entitled to participate in. Recently, in the last few days, Lai Mohammed suggested that the APC has 15-point-something million members. In fact, more people than actually voted for Buhari in the last election. I have reason to be skeptical about those numbers. But nevertheless, if those numbers are true, then that means that we have over 300,000 people in every single state in Nigeria who are members of, in fact, more than that, actually, who are members, do the maths, who are members of APC. And so, possibly, similar numbers in PDP and other parties too. If enough Nigerians were to actually be educated into recognizing that they can make a difference by ensuring that people they trust, people that they know, are those that are coming out in the first instance to ask for our votes at the general elections, I think the outcome might be a lot better. And more importantly, the stomach infrastructure issue becomes a bit more difficult to implement, because at the moment, providing that the political parties, through democratic votes in themselves, are able to adopt direct primaries, which is an issue, it would mean that for you to emerge as a senatorial candidate, you're going to be looking to possibly, find bribes for 500,000 people if you want to get in on the basis of the money that you share. Otherwise, it's down to what the people see as being the right choices for their needs. So the grassroots issue is one that is basically an area the political parties should be expected to address. Okay. It's not up to government to educate the grassroots in that respect.
Okay. Mr. Puta, I'm afraid we have to end this conversation at this point. I understand we're completely out of time. But let me just read this tweet here, and then we'll round off. Izin on so says, leave the people and politicians alone. As long as INEC process is not transparent to the public and journalists, only a fool will not sell his vote. He said, you are a fool to miss a vote-selling opportunity. Okay. But he's asking for transparent processes.
J. Gordian, poverty has no principle. Integrity is too expensive to be found in the arena of the impoverished.
Okay, thank you very much.
That's a pity.
Juliet Kego, social entrepreneur, Joyce Odua, legal practitioner, and Duke Oputa, public affairs analyst, who joined us from London via Skype. Thank you all for sharing your thoughts with us. We would get back to this topic once again, and hopefully we'll bring you back in. Thank you so much. Sunrise will be back in a moment. Please don't go away.